Let's begin by offering our respects to ISKCON founder Acharya, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare.
Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Ananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Vancha Kalpataru Vyascha Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om
Namo
Namo
Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Okay, so we welcome all of you to our weekly Bhagavad Gita classes. Very happy here to see Auntie Nita, Aja, Devina, Disha Milvani, Durga Prasad, Jagrati, Karuna, Kirtilata. Then we have Lal and Mehak Milvani, Manju, Meena Barwani, Mehak Bakshani. Then we have NC Venkatchari, then Ritu Lalwani, Lavina, Saket, Shri Radhe Hari Devidasi, Venkatesh A, Vivansh, and I can see Divya as well. Okay, all right, and Neha has just joined us. Okay, so what did we see in the previous class? What is the title of chapter 9?
Most confidential
knowledge.
Most confidential knowledge. So what is most confidential knowledge?
It's a
What
king
it-
of education.
Okay, it is king of education, Raja Vidya. Then,
Pure devotional, the unalloyed devotion.
yes, pure devotional service is nothing but by pure unalloyed devotion, by pure bhakti, ananya bhakti, we can conquer the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is basically what Krishna is revealing in this chapter. In this chapter, Krishna talks about pure, unalloyed devotional service. So one can capture, one can conquer the Supreme Personality of Godhead by pure devotional service, and that is confidential. So why is it confidential? If Bhagavad Gita can be purchased across the counter for 200 rupees, how come it is most confidential? It is not locked up in a locker and kept, right? So how come it is Raja Guhyam? How come it is the most secret of all secrets? What does Krishna say?
Krishna saying that out of many gurus that had read the Bhagavad Gita, only one of all those gurus, they understand chapter 9.
Okay, so when you say guru, let's assume you're talking about a bona fide guru. So not that only one, okay, let's not, yeah, out of all the people who read the Bhagavad Gita, maybe one in several can understand. But what kind of people can actually understand, Krishna says? Those who are, what is the qualification to understand the most confidential knowledge?
Those who are not envious to him.
Those who are not envious of Krishna, yes, those who are not envious of the position of the Supreme Personality of God, those who are not envious of the position of Krishna. So therefore, Krishna is saying that it is the most secret of all secrets, because those who are envious, this knowledge is not revealed to them. They may be able to read the text, but they will not be able to understand. Why is it that Krishna does not reveal this knowledge to the envious?
Because then they will become more envious to Krishna.
Yes, because they will become more envious, they will end up being more offensive, and they will create more misfortune for themselves, right? It's not that Krishna is some kind of a revengeful God. Krishna is the God of love. He wants everyone to go back home, back to Godhead. So in order to prevent them from creating more misery, more misfortune for themselves, therefore Krishna decides not to reveal this knowledge to them. Because if one person is envious and you hear the glories of another person, then the person will burn more in envy. But if a person is not envious and you hear the glories of the person, then you will be more happy. So therefore, Krishna reveals this knowledge only to those who are non-envious. Okay, very nice. What else did we see in the previous class? So this is Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyam. Then Krishna said it is Pavitram, it is the purest. How is it the purest? It has the potency to uproot even the most sinful activities. It can create a transformation of the heart. It can change the person's sinful tendencies, no, or offensive nature. That also can be done by this pure confidential knowledge, by pure bhakti, which is not possible even by the most powerful atomic weapon that can exist on the planet. We discussed how even the most potent atomic bomb can destroy a whole city or several cities, but it will not change the nature of the person. It will not change the sinful tendencies of a person. But pure devotional service can change the sinful tendencies, can change the offensive nature of a person. So it is the purest. So purity is the force. The more we can lead a pure lifestyle, the more we will be able to convince others to take to Krishna consciousness, or the more we will be able to convey our knowledge to the others. Okay, so Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyam, Pavitram, Idam, Uttamam. Uttamam is transcendental. This knowledge is transcendental. This knowledge is not material knowledge. You cannot compare this to the material knowledge we get in schools and colleges, right? It is completely spiritual. Spiritual calculation is complete opposite of material calculations. Material calculations, the more we give, the less we have. But spiritual calculation, the more we give, the more we have. That is so. This knowledge is transcendental. It's uttamam. Then it gives direct perception of the self. Pratyaksha vagamam dharmyam, Krishna says. Pratyaksha vagamam, it gives direct perception of the self. You can see the results. As you apply the knowledge, you can see, you get realizations, and you can see the results. You can perceive the results yourself. You can see how it brings a change in your life. You can see how it transforms you, So it gives you direct perception of the self. Then dharmyam, it is the principle of religion. We saw how the prime duty of a human being is to realize God. So the perfection of religion that is taught in this Bhagavad Gita. Then sukham, it is very easily performed. It is very happily performed. It is very joyfully performed. You will not see a devotee who is complaining and crying and saying, oh, what is this? I have to do this and I have to chant my rounds, I have to do this. So you will not see a devotee who is complaining about this, because this is very joyfully performed. Nobody is placing a gun on the head and saying that, okay, now you have to chant your rounds, or now you have to follow the 4 regulatory principles. It is voluntarily taken up by so many millions of people around the world, and it is very joyfully performed. Then Krishna says that it is everlasting. It is avyayam. It is there forever. Devotional service, once you engage in pure devotional service, it is there with you forever, even life after life after life. It is not lost when death occurs. Unlike what unless what we accumulate materially, materially, our wealth, our education, our beauty, our fame, our contacts, everything is lost at the time of death. We have to restart all over again when we have to take another birth. But devotional service, that remains with us eternally. Avyayam, it is everlasting. So these important points we saw in the second verse of the chapter. Then we saw the story of one great personality, the previous lifetime of one great personality. Who was that?
Narad Muni.
Narada Muni, isn't it? Narada Muni, in his previous life, he was the son of a
Maid servant.
son of a maid servant, and when he was very young, he lost both his parents, but because of his association with those great sages, he was able to attain perfection. Yeah, Neha, you have a question? I see your hand raised.
Mataji, why is this knowledge Raja Guhyam?
Yeah, it is Raja Guhyam because Krishna does not reveal it to anyone and everyone. He only reveals it to those who are not envious of Krishna. That's why it is Raja Guhyam. It is secret because the envious will never be able to the envious will never be able to understand. It is not revealed to them. They may be able to read it. They can purchase a book and read it, but the knowledge will not be revealed to them. They will not be able to understand it.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
You're welcome. Okay, then in verse 3, what did Krishna says? Krishna said that Krishna is speaking about that those who are not faithful in devotional service, they cannot attain him. So therefore, one has to remain faithful. The ashradhadana, the unfaithful, Krishna says they cannot attain Krishna. So therefore, what happens as a result of that? They return to the path of birth and death. So we saw these 3 verses in the previous class. Today we have to start from verse number 4. Let me share my screen 1 second. Who can read today? Nobody wants to read?
Can I read?
Yes, Sri Radhe Hari. Thank you. So today we will start with section 2 of this chapter. where Krishna is going to describe his relationship to the material world. Now, one may think, what is the need? What is the reason that Krishna is describing his relationship to the material world? See, one must understand that yes, all knowledge comes from Krishna. Everything is coming from him, right? He was the one who spoke the 4 verses to Lord Brahma at the dawn of creation, and everything has come down from there. So all knowledge comes from Krishna, but one may but one may be attracted to material knowledge initially, and then that attraction may lead us to Krishna. For example, one may admire the beauty of nature. One may say, oh, how the leaves are so perfectly shaped, how there are different flowers, such beautiful flowers with different colors and different aromas. So one may admire that, or one may admire the beauty of nature around you in general, and then one may be inquisitive that, okay, so who is the person who is behind all this, who has put all this whole system into place? So one may inquire like that, and one may come to the realization that, oh yes, it is Lord Krishna who is the creator, who is the maintainer, and who is the destroyer. So like that, through material knowledge, one may start to inquire, and one can come to Krishna. So therefore, Krishna is explaining his nature, his relationship to the material world. So Krishna explains his own Achintya, Bheda, Abheda, Tattva. What is Achintya? The word Achintya means that which cannot be conceived. Achintya, we cannot understand. It's inconceivable. And what is Bheda, Abheda? Bheda, Abheda means that which is opposite things are both true. Yes and no at the same time. So that means Achintya, Bheda, Abheda Tattva. One example we saw in the previous class was how Krishna was on this planet, right? He was on planet Earth. But when Mother Yashoda saw the entire universe in his mouth, so Krishna is in the planet, but still that planet is also within Krishna. So Krishna is within the universe, but the whole universe is within Krishna. So how is that possible? No, it's like you cannot understand. We cannot understand. So Achintya, inconceivable, Bheda, Abheda. No, it's yes and no at the same time. So this is what Krishna is going to explain now, his inconceivable potency. Achintya, Bheda, Bheda, Tattva. So this gives us Aishwarya Jnana, the knowledge of his opulences. Why? Why is he giving us the knowledge of his opulences? To stimulate our reverence and devotion. It's not that Krishna is blowing his own trumpet. No, it's not that Krishna is praising himself. It's not that Krishna wants to glorify himself. He is doing that so that he can help us stimulate our bhakti. Okay. Let's hear the shloka.
मया ततमिदं सर्वं जगदव्यक्तमूर्तिना मत्स्थानि सर्वभूतानि न चाहं तेष्वस्थितः.
Yeah, you see the translation. Translation: by me in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. Hare Krishna.
So Krishna is saying, in my unmanifested form, in my avyakta murtina, in my unmanifested form, what is he doing? He is pervading the entire universe. So he's saying, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is being pervaded. Maya tatam idam sarvam jagat. This jagat, this whole cosmic manifestation is being pervaded by me, Maya, Krishna says. Then he says, all beings are in me. Matsthani sarva bhutani. All the living entities are in me, but I am not in them. So he's saying that he's pervading. How is Krishna pervading this entire universe? How is Krishna pervading the entire universe?
His body in the universal form. He's everywhere. His eyes are everywhere.
He's everywhere, okay. But how is he pervading even the atom and all the living entities?
He's inside everything. He's inside everything, and he's also outside everything.
Okay, in what form is he inside everything?
He exists as Paramatma in everyone's heart.
As the Paramatma, as the super soul, isn't it? As a super soul, he's residing in the heart of every living entity. And he's saying in my unmanifested form, avyakta. So it's not that he is visible. We cannot see the Paramatma, right? At least most of us, most human population, we cannot see the Paramatma. People who realize the Paramatma, they can see, they get the Paramatma realization. But we cannot see the Paramatma. So therefore, he's saying that I pervade the entire universe in my unmanifested form.
Recording in progress.
Okay, so let's see some point from the purport. So we cannot, avyakta murtina indicates the unmanifested form. We cannot see the Lord by our gross material senses. How can we see the Lord? By practicing pure devotional service under proper guidance. So yes, one can see the Lord under proper guidance, under the guidance of Guru, Sadhu and Shastra by practicing pure devotional service. Okay, see, there was one incident where Srila Prabhupada was in a park, in a garden, and there was a conversation with somebody else who had come there. He sat next to him on the bench. And then he told Srila Prabhupada in the midst of the conversation that nobody has seen God. So then Srila Prabhupada asked him, how do you get that statistic that nobody has seen God? Have you gone and asked every single person on the planet whether he has seen God or no? Prabhupada tells him, you may have not seen God. You may have not met a person who has never seen God, but that doesn't mean nobody has seen God. So yes, most human population, they have not seen God because we cannot see the Lord with our gross material senses. But if one practices pure devotional service under proper guidance, then one can see the Lord. One gets realizations. There have been deities, there have been people who have spoken to deities. We know the deity of Sakshi Gopal, the deity who walked and talked for the sake of his Brahmin devotee. The story is there in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Sakshi Gopal temple is there. If you visit Orissa, between Bhuvaneshwar and Jagannath Puri, there is a Sakshi Gopal temple, the deity who walked and talked. So, like that, there are people who have had such realizations. Okay, then Krishna says, Matsthani Sarvabhutani, all beings are in me. Everything rests in him. But I am not in them. So, although the Lord is pervading everything, he does not lose his personal existence. That's what Krishna is saying. He still continues to exist personally in his own abode as well. Since God is all pervading, he has lost his personal experience is a statement that is refuted in this particular shloka. Now, Srila Prabhupada gives this analogy in the purport that the king heads the government and is present in all the departments by his energies. So, see, let's read this from the purport. Srila Prabhupada writes, a king heads a government which is but the manifestation of the king's energy. The different governmental departments are nothing but the energies of the king, and each department is resting on the king's power. But still, one cannot expect the king to be present in every department personally. That is a crude example. Similarly, all the manifestations that we see and everything that exists, both in this material world and in the spiritual world, are resting on the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The creation takes place by the diffusion of his different energies. He is everywhere present by his personal representation, the diffusion of his different energies. So see, material world has three aspects: creation, maintenance, and destruction. So in these two verses, Krishna is talking about the maintenance of this material world, how he is maintaining. Let's see 9.5.
न च मत्स्थानि भूतानि पश्य मे योगमैश्वरम् भूतभृन्न च भूतस्थो ममात्मा भूतभावनः.
And yet everything that is created does not rest in me. Behold my mystic opulence, although I am the maintainer of all living entities, and although I am everywhere, I am not a part of this cosmic manifestation. For myself is the very source of creation. Hare Krishna.
See here, Krishna is saying, Nacha Matsthani Bhutani. So he's saying the exact opposite of what he said in the previous verse. In the previous verse, what did he say? Matsthani Sarva Bhutani. All the living beings are in me. Now he's saying, Nachat Matsthani Bhutani. So he's saying that Everything that is created does not rest in me. So he's saying the exact opposite. So how to understand this? Then Krishna says, Yogam Aishwaryam. It's because of my inconceivable mystic power. Inconceivable. We discuss, no, Achintya. So the Lord, He is inconceivable. He can do those things that we cannot understand. If we try to understand the Lord with our gross material senses, then we will end up committing offenses. That's the reason why many people say Krishna is a failed politician. He was not successful in preventing the war. Or they will say Krishna actually was responsible for all this bloodshed in the war. Or they will say that Krishna is an ordinary human being, only he had extraordinary powers. But we have to understand that we cannot understand the Lord with our gross material senses because he is inconceivable. So Krishna is saying Yogam Aishwaryam. So he's Matstani Sarvabhutani. Also he's saying Nacha Matstani. Nacha Matstani Bhutani. See, Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport. Yoga Maheshwaram describes the inconceivable mystic powers of the Lord. That is, everything that is created does not rest in me. What does it imply? That although everything is resting in him, still he is aloof. He is not directly concerned with his maintenance. Just by Krishna uh, desiring it, no, just by his willing, just by Krishna's will, everything is created, everything is maintained, and everything is destroyed. It's not that he is directly concerned. It's not that he is directly going and there are his expansions, no, his expansions are there. We know from Krishna comes Balaram, then we have the 4 quadruple expansions, then we have the expansion of Narayan, and then we have the 2nd quadruple expansions, and then we have the 3 Vishnus, Mahavishnu, Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, Shirodakashayi Vishnu. Mahavishnu is breathing, and by his breathing, he's creating, no? He's creating the universes. And then Mahavishnu expands as Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. Garbhodakashayi Vishnu enters into each universe to maintain each universe. And then Garbhodakashayi Vishnu's expansion is Shirodakashayi Vishnu, where he's expanding as a Paramatma and he's entering into the heart of every living entity. We have discussed all this in detail. So just by his expansions, all this creation, maintenance, and destruction is taking place. It's not that Krishna is directly concerned with them. Krishna just wills it. Everything is performed by his willing. So how he is aloof? Examples of his inconceivable opulences. Planetary systems are floating in place in space, and space is the energy of the Lord, but he is different from space. So the concept of God is not that God is personally directly concerned with the creation maintenance. It's not like Atlas, who is holding the whole globe on his shoulders, no, with so much effort. You can see the effort on his face, and the muscles are bulging and he's feeling the weight of it. That's not the concept of God in Sanatan Dharma. Sanatan Dharma, God is enjoying by his energy only. Everything, by just his willing, everything is happening: creation, maintenance, and destruction. So no difference between his mind and himself. What is in his mind, what he wills to do, that can be done because he is absolute spirit. So our case is different. We are not the mind. No, we say we are not this body. The mind is part of our subtle body. The subtle body is mind, intelligence, and false ego. So we are not the mind. There is a difference between our mind and ourselves. But Krishna is absolute, no? So there is no difference between his mind and himself. All activities are performed just by his willing. See, this was from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Therefore, material senses cannot appreciate Krishna's holy name, form, qualities, and pastimes. When a conditioned soul is awakened to Krishna consciousness and renders service by using his tongue to chant the Lord's holy name and taste the remnants of the Lord's food, the tongue is purified and one gradually comes to understand who Krishna really is. Of all the senses, the most difficult to control is the tongue. The tongue has 2 functions. What is it? To speak and to taste. So how to control the tongue? How to control the urge of speaking is by chanting the Lord's holy name. And how to control the urge of tasting is by eating only prasad, tasting the remnants of the Lord's food. So by these 2 activities, one can get purified and gradually one can understand who Krishna really is. By chanting and by eating Krishna prasad, one can get purified and one can understand Krishna. In the impure state, the more impure one is, the more difficult it is to understand Krishna. That's why purity is the force. Let's go to 9.6.
यथाकाशस्थितो नित्यं वायुः सर्वत्र गोमहान् तथा सर्वाणि भूतानि मत्स्थानीत्युपधारय.
Understand that as the mighty wind blowing everywhere, rest always in the sky, all created beings rest in me.
So Krishna in the previous verse, what did he say? That he's speaking about his inconceivable potencies, achintya, no? Achintya, inconceivable. So we cannot understand him. But still there will be some people who will say that we want to understand. We want to understand in a logical way. Give me some explanation. Give me some way to understand. So for the benefit of such people, Krishna is giving an analogy. What is the analogy he's giving here? He's saying, just as the mighty wind blowing everywhere rests always in the sky, all created beings rest in me. So trying to understand this analogy. Okay, here. See, sky is the biggest manifestation to conceive. If one has to conceive something, the biggest thing that one can conceive materially is the sky. Now, in that sky, what is the biggest thing that one can think of? One can conceive is the wind. So the wind is great and it influences all the movements. But wind is never beyond the sky. It is always subordinate to the sky. So see, if you imagine the sky to be like an upside down bowl. Now within that upside down bowl, there is air, which is circulating within that bowl. Now within that bowl, the air can circulate. It can go left, right, up, down. No, it can go in all the directions, but it cannot go beyond that bowl. So what is Krishna saying here is that just as how the sky, the wind is always subordinate to the sky, in the same way we living entities are always subordinate to the will of the Lord. Now one can say that, but we have our free will. We have our minute independence. So exactly, yes, we have our minute independence. So we are like that wind. We have some freedom, but we do not have complete freedom. We have minute independence. We have some independence, but we do not have complete independence. Therefore, the wind, yes, the wind has some movement, but that movement is restricted within that upside down bowl. So the wind is restricted within the sky. So therefore, our independence is restricted within the will of Krishna. So we have minute independence, but we do not have complete independence. That full independence, fully independent is only Krishna. Completely, Krishna is completely Virat, self-satisfied. All wonderful cosmic manifestations compared here to the movements of the wind exist by the will of the Lord. Lord is compared to the sky. Still, the Lord is aloof and unaffected, just like how the sky is aloof and not affected by the movements of the wind. So yes, although the Lord is a supreme controller, but the Lord is not affected by what we do. Just as how the sky is aloof and not affected by the movements of the wind. But whatever actions we do using our free will, the karmic reaction we have to take. Because if we misuse our independence, it does not mean that we are doing Krishna's will. Krishna is allowing us to do, he's sanctioning it. He is sanctioning it, but it does not mean that he is approving of it. Just as how a child may desire to have something that is not good for the child. And the parents may say that if you do this, let's say the child has a very bad fever, cough and cold, and the child wants to eat an ice cream. So parents will say, no, but now you have fever, you have a cold, you cannot have an ice cream, it will do you more harm. But the child cries and cries and cries, and he's stubborn that he wants to eat the ice cream. So eventually the parent may say, all right, then go ahead and have the ice cream. But then what will happen? The child will fall even more sick. So the child is not doing what the parents want him to do. So the parents are sanctioning it, but it does not mean that the parents are approving of that action. So we may use our minute independence to do things, but that doesn't mean that the Lord is approving of it. He's sanctioning it, but he's not approving of it. Therefore, if we misuse our free will, if we misuse our minute independence, then the karmic reaction, yes, we have to take. Srila Prabhupada gives more examples from the Shastra of the Lord's supreme will as the ultimate control over wonderful material manifestations. So from the Upanishads, he is quoting, "It is out of fear of the Supreme Lord that the wind is blowing." Then again from the Upanishads, by the supreme order, under the superintendence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the sun, the moon, other great planets are moving. In the Brahma Samhita also it is stated, the sun who is the king of all the planets, full of infinite effulgence, the image of the good soul, is as the eye of this world. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, in pursuance of whose order the sun performs his journey, mounting the wheel of him. So all the planets, the sun, the moon, and all other planets are moving out because of the fear of Krishna, because of the will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are all under the superintendence of Krishna. Okay, Lavina, you have a question?
Yeah. Actually, how you said that when a parent is what is it, approving, not approving, what
Sanctioning.
sanctioning. If a parent is sanctioning, that means the karma which children are doing will affect parents also.
Yeah, so karmic calculation, I have heard my Guru Maharaj say that up to the age of 5 years, what the child does, the mother takes the karma. But after 5 years, the child makes its own karma. Because up to 5 years, the child may not be aware of what he's eating. No, the mother is the one who's responsible. So the mother takes the karma up to the age of 5 years. Beyond that, the child makes its own karma. But we as parents must always try our best to teach them, to guide them, to convince them. Of course, if they don't listen, they make their own karma. But we have to do our part, our part of the deal. We have to try and make them devotees from childhood. We need to train them. That is our duty as parents.
Thank
Okay?
you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Okay, let's go to 9.7.
सर्वभूतानि कौन्तेय प्रकृतिं यान्ति मामिकाम् कल्पक्षये पुनस्तानि कल्पादौ विसृजाम्यहम्.
O son of Kunti, at the end of the millennium, all material manifestations enter into my nature, and at the beginning of another millennium, by my potency, I create them again.
So here Krishna is talking about creation. O son of Kunti, at the end of the millennium, all material manifestations enter into my nature. So here he's talking about destruction. And then he says, at the beginning of another millennium, by my potency, I create them again. So he's talking about creation and destruction. Previously, he was talking about maintenance. And now he's talking about creation and destruction. So what is this millennium? Millennium, Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport, is the life of Lord Brahma. So at the end of millennium indicates the time of Brahma's death. Lord Brahma lives for 100 of his years. We have discussed this previously in great detail. How to calculate the lifetime of Lord Brahma? 4,320,000,000 years is what? How do we get this number? Who knows? Who can remember from the previous classes?
By adding all the yugas.
By adding all the yugas, you will get 4,320,000. This is 4,320,000,000. How do you get this?
Into 100 years of 1,000 years of
Yes, into 1,000, correct. Why
Yeah.
1,000? The 4 yugas put together give you 4,320,000 years. All these 4 yugas put together are called as one Divya Yuga. Yes.
Okay, yeah.
That is called one Divya Yuga. Now, one Divya Yuga is multiplied into 1,000 because 1,000 Divya Yugas make one day in the life of Brahma. Okay, so into 1,000, your answer was correct.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's how we get 4,320,000,000 years. Now, why multiplied by 2?
Because it's a day and night. 12
Day
12
and
hours.
night. Yes. So that this number of years make one day in the life of Brahma, and the same number of years make his night.
Night.
Right? So 12 years, 12 hours plus 12 hours of Lord Brahma, therefore into 2. Now into 30, why into 30?
It's a
The whole
monthly
month.
basis. Whole month.
30 days in a month. No, Vedic calendar has 30 days in every month. We don't have like the solar calendar, 31 days, 28 days, leap year, 29 days. No. How the Vedic calendar calculates the extra days is by adding the month of Purushottam.
Purushottam monthly.
Once in 3 years or so. Okay, now why into 12?
12 months.
12 months in a year. And why
Yeah.
into 100?
100 because
Brahma
it's
lives for
100
his 100
years of
years.
Brahma's years.
Yes, Lord Brahma lives for 100 years. So this is how we calculate Brahma's lifetime. So you get this answer, 311 trillion and 40 billion years, according to our earthly calculation, is equal to 100 of Lord Brahma's years. So anyway, when Lord Brahma's lifetime comes to an end, then at that time, all the energy is wound up in the Lord himself. Everything goes into the body of Mahavishnu. That's when he breathes in. His one breath, one breathing in, all the living entities, everything, all this material manifestation, all the energy goes into the body. And at manifestation, again, so when creation happens, he's breathing out, everything is coming out of his body. Again, creation is taking place. So like that, Krishna is saying that at the end of the millennium, all material manifestations enter into my nature, and at the beginning of another millennium, by my potency, I create them again. Okay,
Can
now
I
let's
ask
see.
you? Can I
Yes.
ask you? So I remember we mentioned that 50 years of Brahma is over now.
Yeah, he's in the 51st year.
51st. Okay.
9.8.
प्रकृतिं स्वामवष्टभ्य विसृजामि पुनः पुनः भूतग्राममिमं कृत्स्नम् अवशं प्रकृतेर्वशात्.
The whole cosmic order is under me. Under my will, it is automatically manifested again and again, and under my will, it is annihilated at the end.
See, again, Krishna is saying that everything is happening by his will. Just by him willing, everything is taking place. So Krishna is saying the whole cosmic order is under me. Under my will, it is automatically manifested again and again. And under my will, it is annihilated. It is destroyed at the end. So the whole maintenance, whole creation, whole destruction is happening just by Krishna's will. That's all. Krishna himself is declaring this in the Bhagavad Gita. So this verse, Srila Prabhupada comments in the purport that it refutes the modern concept of evolution. What is the modern concept of evolution? Is that there is evolution of species from one to another beginning from creation. So according to the modern concept of evolution, we have come from the apes. Our ancestors were monkeys. But from Krishna, we learn that all the species are created immediately along with the universe at the beginning of creation. This is our understanding of evolution based on this purport. All species of life are created immediately along with the universe at the beginning of creation. So at the beginning of creation, all the different species are coming into existence at the same time. So the apes and human beings have come into existence at the same time. It's not that there was one particular point of time when human beings did not exist and only apes existed, and over a period of time from the apes then the human beings were involved. No, that's not Vedic understanding. All the species have come into existence. On what basis are all these different species there? What kind of, the soul gets what kind of body, what kind of species one is going to reside in, is based on what? Based on the desires and past deeds of the living entities, which means depends on what we deserve. Past deeds means depends on what we deserve and what we desire. Based on these two things, we get the appropriate body. If one deserves, let's say one deserves the body of a demigod, but he does not desire to get the body of a demigod. He will not get the body of a demigod. On the other hand, if one desires the body of a demigod, but he does not have the karmic backing for it, if he doesn't have so much punya karmas to back it, he will not be able to get the body of a demigod. So based on what you deserve and what you desire, you get the appropriate body. So no direct involvement of the Lord. He does not himself create or destroy, but material nature acts by his desire. So Krishna is just desiring, Krishna is just willing, and everything is taking place according to that. So 9.8 points to Krishna's detachment, which implies Krishna has no direct involvement, but acts through material nature. It's nature's way, as Srila Prabhupada would say. So what is the basis of creation? Creation takes place. So why did God create? To accommodate inclinations or desires of the various living entity. This whole creation has taken place. Bollywood asked that question in one song, no? दुनिया बनाने वाले क्या तेरे मन में समाई काहे को दुनिया बनाई. So what is it? Why did you create this world? Bollywood is asking. So actually the Lord has created in order to accommodate our desire, our inclinations, our own to fulfill our desire and to give us what we deserve. That is why this whole creation has taken place. It's not that the Lord was bored and he had nothing else to do, so therefore he just created. No, that's not the answer. So creation takes place to accommodate our inclinations and our desires. Because we do not desire to be with Krishna in the spiritual world, because we do not deserve to be with Krishna in the spiritual world, therefore we are in this material world. Therefore this whole material world was created. 9.9.
न च मां तानि कर्माणि निबध्नन्ति धनञ्जय उदासीनवदासीनम् असक्तं तेषु कर्मसु.
Oh, Dhananjaya, all this work cannot bind me. I am ever detached from all these material activities, seated as though neutral.
So Krishna is saying that he is neutral. He is neutral. He is not bound by the laws of nature. He does not have to follow. He does not have to follow. He is the one who makes the rules. So Krishna is saying that he is neutral and no work, nothing can bind Krishna. He is completely independent, completely Swarat. He's using the word Dhananjaya here. Dhananjaya is Arjuna's name. It means conqueror of the riches. Arjuna's name is Dhananjaya because he traveled to different places and he collected wealth so that Yudhishthir could do this opulent yagya, opulent sacrifice. Therefore, one of Arjuna's names is Dhananjaya. So anyway, Krishna is saying that he's completely detached from all material activities, seated as though neutral. Let's see some points from the purport. Udasina vat. See here, the word is there. Udasina vat. So what does it imply? It implies that the Lord is neutral. The Lord is always neutral in material activities in the created world. Based on past deeds and desire, the living entities take on different forms. The Lord does not interfere. Material activities is carried out by his different potencies. Still, he has control over every minute detail. So he does not interfere. So if somebody is suffering, we have nobody to blame than us. Because if we are suffering, it is because of our own past bad karma. We cannot blame the Lord. The Lord cannot be unjust. The Lord is not someone who's going to play favorites. No. So if somebody is born in a poor family or is facing poverty or disease from birth itself, one may say, oh, what is this? What is this calculation of the Lord? Aise kaise? What is this? What did this child do? So innocent, just born. The child is complete sins. But we are not seeing the past life of that soul. This newborn child has not come with a blank slate. He's not beginning his account, karmic account there. He has passed through so many lifetimes, and there are so many activities that the person has done in the previous millions of lifetimes. So therefore, you cannot say that the Lord is unjust, or the Lord does not know, or the Lord has made a mistake, or the Lord is blind. No, the Lord is very just. He's like, say, if a high court judge is passing a statement and he's punishing a criminal, who is responsible for that punishment of the criminal? The criminal or the high court judge is responsible? It's the criminal who is responsible, because he behaved in such a way. Therefore, now he is being punished. So you cannot blame the judge for passing that judgment. So it's the same thing with us. If we are suffering, it is because of our own own karma, own bad activities. No, it is because of the misuse of our free will. Analogy for neutrality: high court judge gives so many decisions, but he is neutral and unaffected with the gain and loss. The verdict comes from the judge, but is not caused by the judge. See, there are three people to consider here. Sinful living entity is like a robber. Material nature is like the police. Krishna is like the judge. The judge gives the verdict based on which the police imprisons the robbers. Still, the judge is not the cause of the verdict. The robber's misdeed is. People ignorantly blame God for the reactions that come upon them as just karmic dues of their actions. The Gita categorically stresses that he is not responsible for anyone's right or wrong actions. That's what Krishna is saying. Nor does the Supreme Lord assume anyone's sinful or pious activities. He says that in chapter 5. So by accepting responsibility for our actions and their reactions, we can take the initiative to act auspiciously. When we take responsibility for our actions, then we can think, okay, so if I'm suffering because of my past activities, what activity I'm doing now is going to determine my future. So if I want to keep my future secure, if I want to have a safe future, instead of depending on the dozens of insurance policies that exist, I can ensure a safe and happy future by acting auspiciously. Just like how a law-abiding citizen is not penalized, but is protected by the judge. So if I behave appropriately now, then my future is going to be secure. Then I will be protected by the Lord. So too are devotees engaged in devotional service protected by Krishna as they progress towards supreme liberation. So does this mean that the Lord has no engagement? Because what is Krishna saying? That all this work cannot bind me. I am ever detached from all material activities. I am seated as though neutral. So the Lord is saying that he is seated as though neutral. So does that mean that Krishna has nothing to do? The Lord has no engagement? Does the Lord have any engagements?
Yeah, the Lord advises us, give us the right mindset to act directly. It directs us. It directs our, and it approves or disapproves our desires also.
Okay, very nice. What else? What kind of activities does the Lord engage in? What is Krishna doing in the spiritual world? What is he doing? If all the creation, maintenance, destruction is taking place by his energies.
Oh, he's guiding them. He's ordering them.
Okay.
He orders his energy to work the way they're working.
Okay, but what activities does Krishna himself engage in? He's ordering them.
Spiritual,
what is Krishna doing in Goloka?
Goloka, he's
Changing everything.
What's that?
He's maintaining everything.
No, maintenance, creation, destruction, he's doing just by his energies, by his will, just by his will, just by him wanting it, it's being done.
Oh, he's witnessing.
So what is he himself doing?
He's witnessing, he's viewing everything.
He's just witnessing, that's it. There's no activity for him to do.
No, the activity is there. He's always doing activity.
So what activity is he doing?
Pastimes.
Pastimes, yes. What kind of pastimes?
Leelas with his devotee, his exchange of loving affairs and other affairs.
Yes, the loving affairs with his devotees. For example?
Like his queens, and his servitudes. he sees them, he acts and reacts, and he works with them, and he exchanges, like, you know. It's
Okay,
all
very nice. Can we have anybody else trying to answer the question?
He plays flutes,
He plays the flute.
dances with gopis,
Yes, he dances with the gopis.
and play with goats and
Yashoda.
He's playing with his gopa friends. Yes, very nice.
With Yashoda, he's also doing leelas.
Yes, with Yashoda, everybody he's eating in Yashoda's house. Then
He's ready.
He's
He
ready
makes
for his devotees to come back to the Godhead.
yes.
okay. Then
Can you give us a clue?
no, all are correct answers, but there is more, na? He's also, what about the cows? Krishna is a cowherd boy. He's also taking the cows every day for grazing, no? So these are Krishna's, and he has these leelas, these pastimes. So he has got nothing to do with the material world. That is being the creation, destruction, all these things that are taking place in this material realm is just happening by his will. But Krishna, that doesn't mean Krishna has nothing to do. Krishna is also engaged in these leelas, these pastimes in the spiritual world. See, whatever Krishna did in Bhauma Vrindavan, on this planet, on the Vrindavan here, is an indication of Krishna's activities also in Goloka. So here also he would take the cows for herding. Here also he has his pastimes Yashoda with the Gopa friends, with the gopis. So this is an indication of what is it that Krishna does in the spiritual world.
Can I ask one question?
Yes.
So is Mahabharata also happening there? No, right?
Mahabharata is not happening in the spiritual world. Mahabharata is happening in some other planet in the material world. See, in the spiritual world, there are two things that Krishna doesn't do. What is that? He cannot preach to the fallen conditioned souls, and he cannot kill the demons. Because in the spiritual world, there are no demons, and in the spiritual world, there are no fallen conditioned souls. Everybody is a pure soul. So for preaching and for killing demons, that those pastimes are only in the material world. But in some planet in the material world, this pastime is going on. Even now, Krishna is speaking Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna in some other planet in this material world. We know that there are millions of universes that are coming from the pores of the skin of Mahavishnu as he breathes out. And within those millions of universes, there are planetary systems. Our universe has 14 planetary systems. So like that, it's unlimited. No, so somewhere, yes, Mahabharata war is going on. Somewhere Krishna is speaking the Bhagavad Gita, but not in the spiritual world.
Okay.
So he is always involved in his eternal, blissful, spiritual activities, but he has nothing to do with the material activities. From the Brahma Samhita, the Lord of Gokula is the transcendental supreme Godhead, the own self of eternal ecstasies. He is a superior of all superiors, and he is busily engaged in the enjoyments of the transcendental realm and has no association with his mundane potency. Mundane potency is this material world, material nature.
So only the Leelas are happening, right, in Goloka?
Yes, the loving exchanges with his devotees, as somebody wrote in the chat also, no? The loving exchanges with his devotees, that is going on in Goloka.
Okay.
So now that doesn't mean that Krishna is disinterested. Krishna is disinterested, but he is not uninterested. So it doesn't mean, because Krishna says he's neutral, it does not mean that he's uninterested. Uninterested means he is not showing any interest. Krishna is disinterested. He has no vested interest. So let us try to understand this. Krishna is disinterested. He is not partial to anyone. He doesn't have any vested interest in promoting anyone or demoting anyone. So it's not that he's playing favorites. Whenever people are promoted or demoted, that's due to their own karmic actions. He is immensely interested in all living beings. Why else would he accompany us as the super soul? So it's not that Krishna is uninterested. He is definitely interested in our well-being. Because he's interested in our well-being, only he's accompanying us life after life after life after life through millions of lifetimes. As long as we are in this material world, he's accompanying us as the super soul and accompany us lifetime after lifetime in our journeys through miserable material existence. His interest is not that of an over-vigilant overseer out to catch people doing wrong. So why is he accompanying us as a super soul? Not because he wants to catch us when we are doing wrong. His interest is that of a tireless parent striving for the return of his lost children. He doesn't just wait, but accompanies the prodigal son. So he is not like the father who's waiting for the prodigal son to return. He is also accompanying the son, okay, and trying to guide him as a Paramatma from the heart. That's what we call as consciousness. Sometimes we say, no, my consciousness does not permit me. What is it? That's the Paramatma who's guiding us from within. So he's not only waiting for us to come back with a lot of patience, but he's also accompanying us life after life after life. So who can be more interested in us than Krishna? Even when one is the worm in the stool, even in that abominable state, even in that abominable condition, Krishna is accompanying us. So who can be a better friend for you than Krishna? We may have very good friends, we may have very good families, husbands, children, wives, but nobody is a better well-wisher for us than Krishna. Because all these other well-wishers that we may have by good fortune will last only up till death. Even in the Christian religion, when the church wedding takes place, no, they have a vow. They say, until death do us apart. So only until death. It's this arrangement is only till death. After that, who's going to accompany us? Only Krishna accompanies us as the super soul. So Krishna is disinterested, but he is not uninterested. Let's go to 9.10.
मयाध्यक्षेण प्रकृतिः सूयते सचराचरम् हेतुनानेन कौन्तेय जगद्विपरिवर्तते.
This material nature, which is one of my energies, is working under my direction. O son of Kunti, producing all moving and non-moving beings under its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again.
So Krishna continues to say that the material nature is working under his direction, producing moving and non-moving beings. What are the moving living entities? What are the moving living entities?
Moving things are the living entities. Every energy that Krishna has ever created is moving. Like the sky is moving, and the birds are moving, and the earth is moving, the planets, everything.
Okay, and non-moving beings?
Non-moving things are like the rocks, and then the parvat, the mountains, and
no, but he's saying non-moving beings.
Oh,
Trees.
trees. Like plants and vagera.
Yeah, plants and trees are the non-moving beings, and moving entities are birds, as you said, and animals and human beings, and all these living entities which can move. So Krishna is saying that all these moving and non-moving beings are produced because of Krishna. Under its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. So again, he's saying that everything is working under the direction of Krishna. Krishna himself is declaring this in the Bhagavad Gita. See, Srila Prabhupada gives an analogy in the purport. He says, when there is a fragrant flower before someone, the fragrance is touched by the smelling power of the person. Yet the smelling and the flower are detached from one another. There is a similar connection between the material world and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Actually, he has nothing to do with this material world, but he creates by his glance and ordains. In summary, the material nature without the superintendence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, cannot do anything. Yet, the Supreme Personality is detached from all material activities. Such a nice analogy Srila Prabhupada has given. When we smell the flower, the fragrance is touched by the smelling power of the person, yet the smelling and the flower are detached from each other. So this is the connection between the material world and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna is creating everything, he is maintaining everything, he is destroying everything, yet at the same time, he is completely detached from all material activities. How does he create? By his glance? We discussed this in a previous class. How does he create? By his glance. Who is glancing at the material world?
Mahavishnu.
Mahavishnu, yes, very nice. And that glance takes the form of?
Prakriti.
No.
No, sorry, he
Before
impregnates.
Prakriti. Before Prakriti, the glance takes the form of? Which personality?
Shiva.
Yes, that glance, very nice, Shivani. That glance takes the form of Shambhu, and then Shambhu and Durga unite. And then, therefore, then all the living entities are coming from the womb of Durga Devi. That's why Lord Shiva and Durga are called as a mother and father of the universe. So, even the Lord is not directly glancing. One of his expansions is creating by his glance. Very nice. So our mind tells us only one version of reality when there are actually multiple versions of it. Mind tells us work, earn money, and then in the future you can enjoy. So mind is telling us, okay, work hard, earn money so that in the future you can enjoy. But the mind is only telling us one aspect. It fails to tell us that there is something else happening simultaneously, parallelly. What is that? Body strength is declining. We are losing time. We are getting closer to death. It only tells us the tiny little bit where it thinks that it can enjoy. But that is a linear style. Linear, straight line. Okay, you work, earn money, and you enjoy. Krishna explains in 9.10 that material nature follows a cyclical state. If one starts at point A and has to come back to the same point again, then what is the use of acquiring so many things on the way? So if you're starting here and you're acquiring so many things, but again you have to come back to point A again. So what is the use of all that? That's what happens at death. No, everything that we have accumulated, everything goes. Our wealth, our fame, our beauty, our knowledge, our intelligence, everything is gone. And again, we are starting again, fresh. Again, we go back to school. Again, we start making our money, right? So what is the use of that? Intelligence is to understand how to break the cycle and come out of it completely. If we are not aware of the cyclical state of the material world, we will think we have unlimited time. One must find a balanced approach, balance both material and spiritual needs. We have to do both. What we usually do is we focus so much on the material, we keep the spiritual for later. Oh, I will do this later. Now I don't have the time. Right now I'm very busy making money, or I'm very busy taking care of my children, or I'm very busy with my studies, a student may say. No. So we always keep bhakti for later, in my retirement. But we don't know how long we are going to live. We don't know how much time we have. So we have to balance both material needs as well as our spiritual needs. So where does Krishna talk about the cyclical state? Because when he says that, there is production, all moving, O son of Kunti, producing all moving and non-moving beings, and under his direction, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. So Krishna is talking about a cycle, the cycle of creation and destruction. Okay, so this is intelligent. We need to balance both material and spiritual. Now, another point that we can discuss here is, if everything happens by Krishna's will, was Duryodhan too doing Krishna's will? Krishna is declaring in declaration in 9.10. Prakriti. This material nature. Okay, there is some disturbance. Divya. Okay. So Krishna's declaration in 9.10 that this material nature is working under my direction. There is a common saying, not a blade of grass moves without God's will. If this is true, then one may ask, were Duryodhana's actions also by Krishna's will? If yes, then why did Krishna want Arjuna to fight against him? Now we will try to understand this with the same analogy that Krishna gave, and we've just read a few verses behind. The analogy that he gave was the sky and the wind. Okay, so the sky, envisioned as an upside down bowl, can be compared to Krishna's jurisdiction. The wind is corresponding to our free will. The sky limits the wind's area of movement, but not the wind itself. Krishna controls the scope of our free will, not our free will itself. So Krishna says that everyone is working under his direction, not that everyone is doing his intention. We have also discussed this. Krishna has given us free will, and he does not control how we use it. He has given us free will, and he is not controlling how we use it. But he does control how much we use it. We have freedom, but we have freedom within limits. Because we may be allowed to do some nonsense, but then when it's too much, the time comes when, yes, we have to pay for our karmic actions. We have to pay the reaction to our action. And how much we have to wait. See, the karma may not come immediately. Sometimes it can come immediately, but sometimes it may come much later. So how much later it comes, that depends on how much good karma we have in our karmic bank balance. The more good karma we have, the more period of time we will be allowed to do some nonsense before we have to pay for the karma. The less good karma we have, the quicker the reaction is going to come. So that is proportional to how much karmic balance we have. But eventually the time will come when we are going to be held accountable for our actions. So Duryodhana, he was allowed to do so much nonsense, isn't it? The disrobing of Draupadi, he tried to kill the Pandavas, and so many other, he cheated them of the kingdom and so many other things. So yes, Duryodhana was allowed to do, Krishna was sanctioning it, but now at the time of the war, the time had come when Duryodhana had to be held accountable for his past actions. And Krishna wanted Arjuna to participate in that accountability plan of Krishna. So what Duryodhana did was not Krishna's will. What Duryodhana did was what Krishna sanctioned for a certain period of time. But eventually now the time had come during the war that he has to now pay for his actions. So with this, we come to the end of this section. We'll continue in the next class, if Krishna so sanctions. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Does anybody have a question?
Can I ask you a question, Mataji? You said that we have to pay for our sins, but if we surrender to Krishna, then do we still have to pay for our sins? Like once we do sins and we know that we've done it and we are waiting for the results of it, and then we surrender to Krishna?
Yeah, Krishna says in the conclusion of the 18th chapter, Sarva Dharmam Parityaja, Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja, Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo. So he will deliver you from all sinful reactions if you surrender to him completely. When we surrender to Krishna, completely surrender to Krishna, then the slate is wiped clean. Now we are no more under the law of karma. Now we are under Krishna's direct protection. So yes, when we surrender to the Lord, then we are no more under the karmic accountability. The slate is wiped clean. Krishna has absorbed all our sinful reactions. So that is in proportion to our surrender. What else?
Okay, thank you. So the complete surrender is not what we are doing, right? That is nothing, right? Well, the jabas, it's you had to think about God in every act. Is that what is complete?
Yeah, surrender is a lifetime thing. It's not that you come to a point and you say, oh, today, yes, on such a date, on 23rd March 2024, I'm fully surrendered. Now, no more to achieve. No, it's a lifetime thing. Every day, we go on with our japa, we go on with our seva, with our devotional services, following the four regulative principles. We do more and more. So it's a state of being that one comes to.
Can you
It's
give
a
an
lifetime
example?
process.
Can you give an example who we have to follow? Because we can put effort, but it's not in our hand, right? There are a lot of other things that unknowingly or unknowingly influences us, right? So knowingly we can prevent, but the unknowing stuff.
So we surrender to Krishna by surrendering to a bona fide spiritual master. That is the key. How we surrender to Krishna? We surrender to a bona fide spiritual master. We take guidance from him, and under the instruction of the guru, when we follow the instruction of the guru, then we are getting closer to Krishna. See, your relationship with your spiritual master is an indication of your relationship with Krishna. If your guru is pleased with you, it means Krishna is pleased with you. How do you know? How does one come to know if Krishna is pleased with me or not? You can come to know that from your relationship with the spiritual master. So you surrender to Krishna by surrendering to a guru. So under the instruction of a bona fide guru, the guru gives you the instruction. Chant minimum 16 rounds and follow the 4 regulative principles. So every day we are chanting 16 rounds, but then how we are chanting? How many of those 16 rounds are we chanting are of good quality? No, it's a lifetime thing. It's a lifetime thing. You have to work on it day after day after day after day after day after day.
So then complete surrender is not happening in this life then.
Why not? See, Srila Prabhupada said you chant.
We are trying. Now, I'm not saying that we don't try. We are trying, but it's not completely happening because maybe past karmas and a lot of other things, right?
Okay.
I'm not discouraging anyone.
See. Wait. What Krishna wants you to do is, Krishna wants you to do your best. Krishna is not telling you to do the best. Krishna wants you to do your best. So if you are putting your full effort and you are being fully sincere, then whatever you are lacking, Krishna will fulfill. He will complete that which you are not able to complete. We have said this before, no? The example of how Arjuna tried his best to kill, what's his name, in the battlefield? The one who was responsible for the death of Abhimanyu.
Karna?
No. I'm forgetting his name. The one who was hiding behind all these warriors, and then Arjuna had taken a vow that if I don't kill him today, then I will commit suicide. What was his name? Jayadratha, I think so. Yeah, Jayadratha. So Arjuna had taken a vow after the killing of Abhimanyu that I will kill Jayadratha the next day, otherwise I will commit suicide. Now, so therefore the Kaurava strategy was that they will put him right behind and Arjuna will have to fight many warriors, so he will not be able to reach Jayadratha at the end of the day by sunset when the war has to end, and therefore Arjuna will commit suicide. That was the strategy of the Kauravas. So Arjuna did his best. No, he fought with all his might, killing all these warriors one after the other, fighting them, facing them, defeating them. But still, Arjuna was running out of time to get to Jayadratha. So then what did Krishna do? Krishna created that eclipse-like situation. No, he covered the sun. Jayadratha thought, yes, the sun has set. He came in front of Arjuna, and then Krishna removed that eclipse-like situation, and then it was still daytime. The war had not yet ended, and then Arjuna was able to kill Jayadratha. So the point is, Arjuna did his best. And wherever Arjuna was lacking, Krishna complimented him. Krishna helped him to complete the incomplete. So we do our best with our full sincerity. And if we are lacking anywhere, which we are not able to do, because yes, we are in Kali Yuga and there are so many anarthas, Krishna will help you complete the incomplete. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, I carry what you lack. He says, I carry what you lack and preserve what you have. So whatever we are lacking, Krishna will fulfill it if we are sincere. Krishna knows exactly what our intention is. Krishna knows exactly what we are thinking. He's right there in our heart, isn't it? So we don't have to worry that we will not be able to do it. We have to just try our best. Krishna will do the rest.
So the lesson I learned is just do your best and don't worry about.
Yes, you do your best with your full sincerity. Krishna knows exactly what you're thinking, what your intention is.
Thank you.
You're welcome. See, there is a pastime of Srila Prabhupada also. Srila Prabhupada was giving a class and he said that if you are 100% Krishna conscious, Krishna will take you. So then he saw that in the audience, his disciples, they were not very convinced because 100% Krishna conscious. So then Prabhupada said, okay, even if you are 90% Krishna conscious, Krishna will take you. Then again, the faces were not very positive. He saw the expressions and then Prabhupada said, even if you're 80% Krishna conscious, 70% Krishna conscious, Krishna will take you. And then the class ended, and then Srila Prabhupada was going to his room, and he was followed by one of his disciples. And then Prabhupada saw this particular disciple was not looking very happy. He was not very convinced. So then he said Prabhupada, I don't think that I can even be 70% Krishna conscious. So then Srila Prabhupada says, don't worry, you catch hold of the corner of my dhoti. I will take you through the back door. So this is the mercy of a spiritual master. The spiritual master can take you even through the back door, even if we are not deserving. Because it's the desire of a pure devotee of the spiritual master can take you through the back door. Because Krishna fulfills the desire of his pure devotees. And the bona fide spiritual master is a pure devotee of Krishna. And the Guru wants you back, isn't it? So even though we don't have the qualification, no, we cannot get in through our merit. We can get in through recommendation of the pure devotee. Krishna will let you in even if you're not fully qualified on the recommendation of his pure devotee, which is the spiritual master. So therefore, it's very, very important that one takes initiation from a bona fide, authorized spiritual master. He can take you through the back door. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay, what else do we need to discuss?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
I had a question that one of my friend Mataji was telling that after being a mother, it's very difficult to practice bhakti.
Because?
And we were telling like when we should practice bhakti, not that I don't have time, I have children. That so how to balance that?
Yeah, it's a matter of time management. Maybe one should get up a little earlier and chant the rounds. It's not impossible. It may be a little difficult, but with proper time management, it is possible. And also some gurus, for example, my spiritual master, he gives a certain period after childbirth. I'm not sure exactly what the period is because I was not in that situation myself. But there is a certain time period that he allows for the mother to recover after childbirth, no, and then you can continue. But it's not a long period. It's probably I think so. I'm not very sure, but it's just a couple of weeks or so that he gives some extra time for the mother to recover from her delivery and all that stuff. And also, my spiritual master says that if you cannot chant your 16 rounds because of an extreme emergency case, then you can make up for the lost rounds the next day. But it should not become a habit. It's not an average of 16 rounds. Prabhupada did not say chant average of 16 rounds every day. He said minimum 16 rounds every day. But if due to an emergency situation, you're not able to chant 16 today, you chant the remaining rounds the next day. So some gurus also allow that. So it's really, you need to speak to the spiritual master and see what can be done, because this is an instruction that can vary according to time, place, and circumstances. Each one's circumstance is different, right? So this is something that needs to be consulted with the guru or with a senior devotee. Does that answer your question?
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you. Where are you from, Kirtilata Mataji? You've been joining us very recently, I think so.
I was following your lecture on systematic study of Bhagavad Gita in YouTube, and I was inspired. And I'm from Bangalore, so I was not knowing that this is live also. So I started joining from last class.
Okay, thank you so much for joining and giving us your association.
Mataji, I need your association and inspired by you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, anything else we need to discuss?
Mataji, I have one question.
Yes.
So you said we have to have a spiritual master to go back to Godhead, right?
Yes.
Because that's the only way. So what happens if the family is not in favor? Can we still get initiated?
Okay, so see, there are many such cases where the family is not favorable, but we know that Krishna is the master magician. No, he's he's the most mystic person. If you sincerely pray and probably make it your only prayer that, my dear Lord Krishna, please send me a bona fide spiritual master, he can make mission impossible possible. Okay, just it all begins with you desiring. If we just say that, okay, my family is not supportive, so it's never going to happen in my life because probably my husband is never going to allow it, or my children are not going to be in favor of it, or parents are not favoring. If we resign to that, then it will not happen. But if we have the desire, no, I want it, no matter what, I want initiation, I want a guru, and every day I'm praying to Krishna, oh my dear Lord Krishna, this is my situation, please help me, please send me a guru. He will make the impossible possible. It has happened to many people, Shivani. It has happened to many, and there is no reason why it will not happen to a particular case. Okay, prayer, there is a lot of potency in prayer, lot of potency in prayer.
But do some gurus, I mean, I don't know, do they ask you, like, you know, if like at the time of the initiation, your husband has to be there, or is your family member okay with this, or they deny you because your family member is not in favor of it?
Now, this is also a very specific question that you will have to ask to the specific guru. In my case, my husband is not initiated, but he is favorable. And I don't think it would be a hindrance for taking initiation, because they see your own, if you are fulfilling the requirements. Okay, yes, if husband is supportive, it is a very favorable condition. But it's not that you will be denied initiation because your husband is not favorable. Anyway, you can discuss this. If you have decided whom you want to take initiation from, no, you can discuss this with that person, and he can guide you.
So is it advisable if we have taken initiation in any other spiritual master, other they follow different ways, come to Krishna conscious?
Yeah, there are many people who have taken initiation from in other paths, but when they come to Krishna consciousness, then they accept a guru in ISKCON as well. But you have to discuss this with the guru from whom you want to take initiation in ISKCON. You have to reveal this to the spiritual master, and also reveal why you want to change your guru.
Oh.
So this also you have to discuss with the person you want to take initiation from. But there have been many such cases in ISKCON. It's not new.
Okay. So then in ISKCON, how do we find a guru?
Okay, so ISKCON is a ISKCON is a multi-guru organization. There is not only one person on the head of the organization. It's not like that. ISKCON is a multi-guru organization. There are some 100 bona fide gurus to choose from. So you can go online and you can see the different classes, and you can see which guru appeals to you, whom you like to hear from, because we hear from the spiritual master. So who is attracting you, who you feel inspired by. Or you can also visit your local temple. There will be some gurus who will be visiting the temple close to your house in the city, and you can see if you're feeling inspired from those who are visiting. And if you feel that you can connect with a person, then you can approach a person and say that, would you accept me as your aspiring disciple? So there are 3 stages for initiation in ISKCON. One is aspiring, then we have shelter, and then we have initiation. Aspiring means you aspire to become a disciple. No, so you approach the guru, and then the guru says, okay, then the guru may accept you as your aspiring disciple. Now you know that, okay, you want to take initiation from this particular person. If you are following all the regulative principles, the 4 regulative principles, and you're chanting 16 rounds for a period of 6 months continuously without any break and without any mistakes, then you can take shelter. Now, after taking shelter from the same guru, of course, after taking shelter, if you are following the same without any problems, without any breaks, sincerely you're doing for another 6 months continuously, then you are eligible for initiation. Then your local authority, your local temple, or somebody you know, no, maybe your local Bhakti Vriksha leader or Namahatha leader who is cultivating you, who is helping you, who is guiding you, needs to recommend you, because how will the guru know what exactly are you following? So your local authority, local temple, or a person who's guiding you, or a Namahatha leader or a Bhakti Vriksha leader, anyone who's a leader of a preaching program can also recommend you. So based on that recommendation letter, then you can get initiated from the spiritual master.
Okay. Thank you.
Do you have a temple near where you stay, an ISKCON temple?
Yes, there is.
So what you can do is you can go to the temple and speak to the temple president or any authority in the temple saying that you desire to take initiation in ISKCON. And he may also recommend that you can come and do some seva. It's always good to have a fixed service. So some people go to the temple once a week and they may make some garlands, or some people may go once a week and they may help in the cleaning of the temple, or any seva, or cooking, or serving the prasad, any seva. No, it's good to have one fixed up service that you can do, because no, spiritual life is not all about, okay, I chant 16 rounds, I follow the 4 principles, and that's it. No, I'm going back to God. No, we want to take this forward, and we want to see, we have become fortunate, we want to make others also fortunate. So we have to also render service in the temple. There are so many services that are required, and we all know the congregation of that city, we all make that temple. It's all running by the joint efforts. So you can also help to contribute by having some fixed up seva. So some service you need to have fixed up in the temple. You can speak to the temple authorities and say, please give me some service. And they can say, okay, I recommend this. What service suits you? Okay, you can say, okay, on a Saturday, I can come and I can help to serve the prasad, maybe. I'm just giving an example, or whatever suits you. So like this, you can have a conversation with the temple authority or the temple president, and you can take this forward.
Oh, okay.
Okay. What else? You're welcome. Anything else we need to discuss?
Mataji, I have one question. So
Yes.
if you're part of a Bhakti Vriksha, and of course those people who are running the Bhakti Vriksha, they're second disciple, second initiated, and but you are not, you're not in, like, the guru that they have, you're not, you don't want to take Diksha from that guru, or you're not even part of, maybe some other guru. So we should approach them, or we should go to the temple and approach somebody at the temple that,
No, see, a Bhakti Vriksha is not going to recommend a particular guru. That is a very personal decision. A Bhakti Vriksha leader will guide you and make you ready for initiation, will tell you, okay, what are the requirements and stuff like that. But the guru you choose is completely your decision. That only you can decide. They cannot tell you which guru to choose. That is completely your decision. And whoever the guru may be, if it is within ISKCON, whoever the guru may be, they can recommend you. That's not a problem.
So the people from Bhakti Vriksha can recommend us. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, if they are authorized to recommend, yes. See, normally the Bhakti Vriksha a Bhakti Vriksha program is an extension of the temple only. So if they are connected to the temple, no, it's not that they are against the temple. If the Bhakti Vriksha program is connected to the temple in the sense that they are sending their regular reports to the temple and saying, okay, we are cultivating so and so, and this is the requirement. So if that Bhakti Vriksha is connected to the temple, then the Bhakti Vriksha leader is authorized to recommend. And based on that recommendation also, the initiation can happen. But sometimes there are some people who are not connected to the temple and they are doing their own thing, their own program. In that case, it will not be possible. They should be connected to the temple. They should be connected to a temple that is connected to the GBC. The GBC is the governing body council of ISKCON that controls ISKCON worldwide.
So the service has to be done at the temple then, right?
Yeah, service can be done in the temple, or if the temple, you can also speak in the temple if there is any Bhakti Vriksha which you can join and do the service in the Bhakti Vriksha program also. So that through the temple you can ask them. So they will tell you options. Okay, maybe the temple is 2 hour drive from your house, but there is a Bhakti Rickshaw program which is just 15 minutes from your home. So you can do seva in the Bhakti Rickshaw program, fixed seva, and then through the Bhakti Rickshaw recommendation, the temple can recommend you like that.
Oh, and you don't have to go to the temple every week.
No, then it's not necessary. So it all depends on what is your circumstance and what is coming out of the conversation. You can always say what is convenient for you and how it can always be worked out with the authorities. Okay, depending on your time, your place, and your circumstances. But always under the bona fide authority, you should act. That is very important.
Okay, and follow the four principles, right?
Oh yes, definitely. Follow the 4-legged principles and chanting 16 rounds and 1 fixed up seva. This is definitely you need.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else? All right then. So see you all next week if Krishna so sanctions. Tomorrow is a very, very auspicious Gaura Purnima. Here in this part of the world, at least in Chile, we have Gaura Purnima. It's the appearance day of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the most merciful incarnation of the Lord. So please go and participate in the festivities in the temple. It's very important to participate in the temple festivities. See, if a friend invites us for a birthday party or an anniversary party, we want to go. But when there's a temple program, then we think, okay, if it's possible, we will go. No, it's very important to take part in the temple festivities, maybe even take some seva in the temple and have devotee association and participate in the festivities and be unlimitedly blessed. So tomorrow, please try and celebrate Gaura Purnima. Okay. All right, then take care and see you all next week if Krishna so sanctions. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu vyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanyavad Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Sanam.
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna.